Welcome in for another episode. Tonight we're not gonna talk too much regarding XFL. Maybe a couple little things here and there, but really I want to cover a couple special guys that gave me the chance to interview them and just get to know them a little better. Enrique, Oscar, both great athletes. Look forward to getting to Oscar's interview at the end. Enrique is going to join us in just a second for the live. But before we go forward with him, I just had one XFL piece I really wanted to cover, and that was the news about the draft possibly on October 4th. Now, this came from a documentary that XFL released called iXFL 3 Days at the XFL Combine. If you watch, there's a portion where they're talking, a few of the player personnel are talking, and it kind of slips out that, hey, after the draft on October 4th, yada, yada. So what I'm going to do today is I've actually got the video pulled up. I'm going to play it up to that point, let everybody at home see it, see what you think about it. I mean, it could have just been something that has been changed or moved. Who knows? But regardless, it's pretty cool that we as fans could catch that in there. I did not find this. I found this on Twitter. I'm not going to take credit for finding this first. By the time I got to watch this, I think it was the night of it came out, and multiple people had been reporting on this. So whoever did find this first, props to you, whoever you are. But I mean, I'm sure I would have noticed it watching. It's just the way it is. So without further ado, here's the clip from the XFL. Get it pulled up.
One of the things that we instituted with the Combine is the interpersonal interaction, the interviews between coaching staff and the prospective players. And that goes a long way because they want to make sure they get to know that person. You can scout a guy and see what he puts out there on tape, but what's his makeup? What is he going to bring to the locker room, to our team?
We're in a good spot. And the other part that is even better is with the success of the first year of this league. Now the guys that were questioning it before, they're going to jump in, right? Like we're not going to have, I think when we get to that October 4th draft and we get to the supplemental draft, you're going to have some guys that have NFL experience or have football experience that are going to be chomping at the bit to get into this, to keep extending their careers and to say, hey man, I could go play in.
All right. So that's the clip right there. As you see, I think the timestamp on it was like 11 minutes, 55 seconds. That's when you'll actually hear Mark Lillibridge talk about this draft and how players have the opportunity of taking advantage. Check out this documentary if you haven't seen it yet. Regardless of this little piece of info, this whole thing's super good and really good to get some inside information regarding the XFL. So check that out. Now, I will say, I like to not cover too many things unless they're official. Once they're official and they're something that we can really look at and put our eyes on, that's what I'm looking for. So when the XFL finally releases a statement, we'll really cover that. And I just wanted to share that with people at home so they didn't have to dig around for that video or dig around for that piece. So again, if you want to watch it at home, it's like the timestamp's like 11:50, 11:55, and it's Mark Lillibridge. He's the director of player personnel for the Houston Roughnecks, and he's speaking about this draft. So check that out. Now, I'll have Matty Fresh on the 5th, so that'll be a good convo. And me and him will discuss more of these rumors regarding Houston moving and Vegas moving and all that. I really didn't want to cover all that again tonight. It's like beating a dead horse. There's stuff coming out online, but there's nothing official. So I have reached out to the league and asked for a statement regarding Houston. They said they're not doing any statements or any reports or any kind of interviews at this time for that. So we'll see what happens, but very curious as how this all plays out. Regardless, glad we got this draft date. If it's true, October 4th. This is going to cover all the showcase and combine people that attended and that were successful. So that should be good. We'll see what happens. So, yeah. Anywho, while I'm chilling, let's get Enrique on here. Enrique, let's get you on. What's up, man? How you doing today?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. How about you?
Very good. Where are you coming in today from?
I'm from Aguascalientes, Mexico.
Gotcha. So,
yeah,
I'm in the coast of Mississippi. How far do you think that is from here? If you could gauge it out.
Phew.
Good ways, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a long way.
Yeah, Enrique, welcome to the show. It's good to have you. We've been
Thank
trading
you.
conversation for the week, I know, and really didn't plan to have you on until a few days ago, but it's cool. We'll take it. I love the live guest. I love being able to ask you questions, and your story is pretty interesting, being that you're a Mexican American football player. You've went around to different professional leagues, and you've done many, many things regarding American football. So I definitely want to pick your brain a little. Now you'll hear me keep using the term American football. Is that common in Mexico when you talk about football? Do people refer to it as American football and then football soccer as in football?
Yeah, actually,
Gotcha.
well, first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, actually, we call it here American football. Like, if you talk about football, just football, it means the soccer sport here in Mexico.
Understood. That's what I figured, and that's why I'm really trying
Yeah.
to correct myself, especially when we're talking about specifically Mexico. Soccer is hitting in the U.S. now, though. There is some pretty popular soccer teams that are popping up, but you know how it goes. You've
Yeah.
been around.
Now they have Messi around. Now they have a lot of fans watching the MLS.
Yes, sir. Agreed. It's growing, and I think it'll get bigger, especially as these cities invest themselves. But anywho,
Definitely.
let's talk more about you, man. You've had an extensive career, really, and you're like I said, your story's pretty interesting. You're actually playing for a Mexican professional soccer team, American football team. I'm sorry, right now. So it confuses me being American. But tell me, man, just tell me more about your background, your upbringing. We'll get to your actual football stuff in a minute. But I mean, how'd you grow up? Where'd you grow up, and kind of what was your life like?
Well, I was born here in Aguascalientes, Mexico. I'm 29 years old. I've been around sports since I was a little kid because my whole family plays soccer, so that's like the main sport I started playing. Well, I'm married and I have one kid. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm trying to make the dream come true. I'm trying my best, but at the same time, I'm working because, well, in the end, not everything is football. Well, American football. So yeah.
We can safely use the term football now.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think.
Right now,
No worries.
I can just say football.
Yeah, go ahead. I just want to make sure it's specified, especially for people at the beginning, that they know what I'm talking about, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So what do you do for work? Do you mind sharing that?
Oh yeah, it's a billing company for TV companies. So we manage all the billing they use with their clients. So, like for example, if you don't pay your cable or your Wi-Fi, and the company cuts it, so our system makes all that process.
Gotcha. So you're pretty busy, man. It sounds like you're actually working.
Yeah, definitely. I wake up at 4:20 a.m. so I can work out, then practice, and I start working at 9, and I stay the whole day all the way like till 8 9. So I used to do like a little yoga and stretch, so I can finish the day.
Yeah, but you definitely have to take care of yourself if you're working like you're saying, and you're doing your football thing. In terms of y'all season, you're in the off season right now, correct?
Yeah, it finished like kind of like the end of May, something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. So tell me, how did you begin playing American football? Being that you're in Mexico, how did that start? What age?
Well, actually, I started playing football in states. I went to high school in Georgia, in Smyrna, Georgia. Back in 2011 was my first season. It was funny though, because my football coach, the assistant head coach, was the soccer coach, the head coach from soccer. So my kicking coach back then, he was just kicking around, getting ready for a workout he had, and I just started punting around. So I just punted like a 60-yard horrible punt, no form, no technique, and they just were looking at me like, "Do you want to play football?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I like to watch it, but I'm good. I don't want to get hit." And they told me like, "You're just gonna be the kicker. You're not gonna get hit, and plus, You get to use the jersey on Fridays. You get like the good meal after classes, the pancakes on Thursdays. So I'm like, oh, sounds cool. And well, once I started playing, the first Friday night that I was at the stadium, I got injured like 2 days before the game. So I was on the sidelines that Friday, and that's where I fell in love with the sport. Like the passion that you feel in on the field, the team, how they treat the team like a family. And for me, I never saw like a high school, like a lot of people watching a football game in high school. I mean, I thought like all the movie stuff was just like movie stuff, but it was actually real.
Yeah, it's real. Small towns, communities, they really rile. They go behind their high school football team or even their college or city football
Yeah.
team. You'll see whether it's arena, college, whatever. If that's all that community has, they're probably going to support that group right there.
Yeah, and then I learned more about Texas football, and that's where I learned like actually high school football is a big deal in the state. So yeah, I mean, I love the sport, and I started playing back in 2011. I
How
played my whole high school
how
there.
old were you then? Do you remember? And how old are you now, by the way?
I was, I think I was 15.
Okay,
I'm 29 right now.
understood.
Yeah, I was 15 when I started playing. Yeah, 16. I mean 15, and that was my first time I started playing football.
Gotcha. So you pretty much fell in love right there during the actual game. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, like
Gotcha.
the whole environment. Since you're in class, um, you start feeling all the energy.
Oh yeah, it's there, and being a fan. It's very similar when you go to them games, and then there's a lot of folks, just like you said, you get
Yeah.
sucked into that. It's a group atmosphere, so that's awesome, man. What coming in? Did you just stayed kicking? You didn't ever try to play any other positions?
I joke around about like playing something else, but because I was playing soccer too, I was team captain. I was varsity team, so the coach didn't want me to get hurt. So he was like, just stick to kicking. You're good at it, so don't worry about nothing else. You
There
don't
you
want to.
go.
We don't want you to get hurt for the soccer season, because back then my main goal was to be a professional soccer player.
Understood. And that's pretty common coming from Mexico, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that a lot of individuals, but y'all have the city soccer teams, correct? The city soccer
yeah,
clubs. It's a little different. So
yeah. It's way different.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I've knew a few people from that way, and they've spoke about, and these weren't even related to athletes, but they spoke about how American football was popular there, even compared to soccer, just depending on where you were or who you knew. But it's more popular there than what I ever thought, for sure. And that's what's the best part about getting you on, as well as Oscar, because Oscar played some time in the FAM league, which was FAM.
Yeah.
That was another Mexican league that he played in. So anyway, tell me, man, what's been the biggest challenge as a Mexican American football player? I mean, what's
Uh,
been your biggest challenge? Give me anything. It could be football related, family, whatever. Just talk to me.
well, the biggest thing for me actually has been like not being from the states, because it's way harder to like get seen by teams, to communicate with coaches, have like opportunities, because in the end, I mean, what I've learned is that you have to give your best. So I think it's easier for teams to look at players who play D1 or D2 than players who play in Mexico or play somewhere else where they don't have like the spotlight. So for me, that has been the biggest challenge, because in terms of family, well, my wife, my kid, my whole family always supporting me on this dream. So I've been into camps, a lot of camps in the states. I've done anything I could, so I could like m- reach my goal. But yeah, I will say like the biggest challenge would be like having to prove that me as a Mexican player can succeed and go compete against players down there.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And from talking to Oscar yesterday, his regard was that almost that American players there that get drafted from America kind of get more of the opportunities than people that are actually from there and playing. Is that true?
I mean, I will say that, for example, in the NFL, I mean, you see it in the kicker carousel they have in the NFL. How many drafted kickers every year? Like, there are new kickers in the league. So I think you have to like really actually make like a big impact.
Yep.
And have like the notice from everyone, or do something like will put the world notice. And it's easier to make it down there than somewhere else, because like I met some kickers during camps that they actually asked me, they play football in Mexico? Do they have like a football leagues? And I was like, wow, there's some people that, I mean, football is getting bigger here in Mexico, but it's not like something that it's already established around the world.
Understood. I don't know, do you feel like it's going to keep growing there in Mexico?
Actually, yes. The biggest college here in Mexico, they have more than 70, 80 years playing football. So there's and they're actually fans in Mexico. Like, well, you've seen the merchandising the NFL team has in Mexico is one of the biggest around the world.
Gotcha.
So in Mexico, every time the game is played here in the Estadio Azteca, in the international games, it's so hard to get a ticket. Like, they are selling more than 2 minutes, in less than 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Understood. So it's very popular. I
Yeah.
can see. Tell me, I mean, give me some more background on your playing experience. Where have you played? What have you done? Tell me, just to start. Let's start now. What do you do right now? Who do you kick for? Who do you play for? And just work it back from there.
Well, I play right now for Reyes de Jalisco. It's a team in Guadalajara. It's a pro team. It has 2 years of existence. I started playing there after last year. So yeah, I kick for them this year, and well, that's like they told me that they support me at any time, any cost, for me to follow this dream to make it in the XFL. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm kicking for them right now.
Gotcha. So where were you at before that? I know you had some Canadian experience as well, correct?
Yeah, I started playing pro football in 2019. Actually, that picture, that's from my first pro team. It's called Osos Toluca.
Okay.
I started playing for them. That year, on my rookie season, I broke the longest punt record with 94 yards and the longest field goal with 59. And I was named All-Pro and All-Star on my first season.
Wow.
And the Mexican League reached an agreement with the CFL so they can be drafting players, like global players. So you have to like a draft for the pro team in Mexico, and I was selected in the first round. And then we have like a workout for the CFL teams the next day. And after that day, I got selected in the first round for the global draft with Montreal. So I played with Montreal in 2019. Then in 2020, I play actually. I was looking at the guy who you interview as well.
Yep. Oscar
Scott. He played with Pioneros de Querétaro.
Yep.
I played with them as well in 2020.
I saw that when I was researching you. And another note is, I'm glad you said that, because I would mess that all up, bro. But yeah, I seen that as well, and that's another thing I was going to ask you about. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my bad. I played with them in 2020, and there's where I broke the longest field goal again with a 60-yard field goal. That year it got canceled because of COVID.
Gotcha.
And then, well, Montreal, what they told me that they were actually having me back, but all the stuff with COVID and all the restrictions that the whole world had, well, it was impossible for me to go back
Understood.
at that time. So, well, the time move on. I understand it's a business. So, 2021, I start playing with Dinos de Saltillo because Pioneros de Querétaro were out of the LFA where I played. They moved to FAM. So I started playing with Dinos de Saltillo. I played there, and I was the top leading scorer as a kicker that year. I was named All Pro and All Star again
Wow.
that year. And then this year I started playing with Reyes de Jalisco.
So you're running the game on kicking down here. You're the man, is what you're telling me.
I mean, I don't like to say that. I just let like my work speak on the field.
I understand. Yeah, it's one thing being confident, it's another thing being cocky. So I get it, man.
Definitely.
So yeah, so this is from Mexico right here, correct? This is
Yeah.
your current last season.
The last field goal, the 57 yards, was my last season. That was my second year in the Pro League with Pioneros. That was the longest field goal. The next one was the 59-yard field goal, my rookie year. And the last field goal was this year. And with that field goal, I was officially hold the three longest field goals during a regular season in the history of the league.
It's awesome. I'm like, watch this one more time. That's awesome, man. How
Yeah.
close have people gotten to your record? I mean, how much did you beat it by when you did beat it?
When the first time I beat it, I think it was 54.
Okay.
No, it was 52 or 54.
Gotcha. So you really beat it. It wasn't a 1 yard difference.
Yeah, I actually that game I talked to my head coach and I was like, "Come on, coach, please let me kick this field goal before I leave."
That's awesome. You got the opportunity and showed out when you could.
Yeah,
honestly.
and the next, my bad. Sorry.
You're okay.
And the next field goal, the 60-yard field goal, we were kicking a 55-yard field goal that game, and my line moved. So it was like so my coach looked at me and he was like, "Let's punt." But I was like, "Nah, coach, let's go for the field. Let's go kick the field goal." And he was like, "Okay, do your thing."
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
All right. So any other playing news? So where did you play high school and how did you get to the point where you were playing for a college? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, of course. I played high school in Campbell High School in Smyrna, Georgia. It's a small school. We never had like a winning season, but it was actually fun. Like coaches, I'm still in contact with my high school coach. Like they always asking me for my family, for my career, everything. Same here. So I consider them part of my family because they treat me like I was one of their own those days. So I played high school, and after I graduated from high school, I completely forgot about football my first year. Like I went to practice with a professional soccer team for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got cut for the team from the team, and I started playing soccer team for my soccer team in college. And then I broke my meniscus,
Gotcha.
and I was like a whole year off the field, and that was something that actually changed my whole life because like I told my wife, if I never broke my meniscus, I probably would have playing soccer. I never started thinking about football again. So after I broke it, lost my soccer scholarship, and I was like, damn, what I do now? I can't study college in this college without a scholarship. So I started sending my high school highlights to every campus for the college I study here in Mexico. And actually, I received some offers. but uh, I was, thank God, I ended up in the college. I played in, it's called ITESM Campus Toluca, where that's where I started playing my best football, my best kicking, and I ended up being the two-time national champion with the team and play for my national team, football national team in college. And actually, I was voted the MVP of the national championship game.
Gotcha. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
That's a heck of a story. It's very, very interesting how that all worked out.
yeah, it's funny because actually that surgery changed my whole life, my whole career, and and I fell in love with the game again when I started playing college. It was hard because I have to move from my girlfriend at that time. That she's my wife right now, but at that time we had to like be in a long distance relationship, being away from home again. So it was really hard for me. But they all supported me, and well, we're still here trying to accomplish
Hey, you'll
the
get
dream.
there, man. Keep doing your grind, bro. I mean, from what you like you said, you're showing up, you're showing out. You're not just talking about being a good kicker, you actually are, and you've got plenty of tape to show that.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like I like to watch all the techniques from the best kickers in the NFL. That's like before every game, I watch kicking highlights from Justin Tucker, Will Lutz, the top kickers in the league. Adam Vinatieri, like the clutch kicks that you have to like have your head like close around the whole noise. But yeah, I like to watch it. I try to copy all the techniques they do and try like make one of my own to see what works the best for me. And it's been fun. It's been a fun ride, and I'm enjoying every single day. Sometimes I get really frustrated, but like this year, it really changed my life after uh, I started talking to Coach Ray and Mr. Hutchins.
And they are who? Who are they to you?
The Coach Ray is the head coach from the DC Defenders,
Gotcha.
and Mr. Hutchins is the director of personnel, the player personnel.
Gotcha. That's what you meant. I was curious. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you were talking about Mexican football administrators or personnel or what.
No, they changed actually my life right now because doing everything they could to actually trying to give me this chance that I've been looking for.
Understood. I really hope you get that chance, Enrique. I really, really do. I think that, especially someone that's hustling like you are, you definitely deserve the shot. And I mean, we don't know how it'll work till you get there, but I'm confident that you'd be fine. What do you tell me? What's the biggest differences in playing in American football compared to Mexico? I mean, whether it be actual gameplay or games, the fans at games, what do you think is the biggest differences?
I will say the fans because the rules we play in college we play with NCAA rules, and in the pro league we play with NFL rules. So actually
Understood.
there's nothing on that like a big difference. I will say the fans. For example, I watch college games in the states, and you see more than 90,000 people around, and the overall assistance in a college game here in Mexico, like the biggest one that I've heard is more than 20,000. So I mean, there's a big difference, but I like how fans try to get in your head the whole game. That's what I love here in Mexico. Like the type of people that we're here in Mexico, we're always trying to get in our opponent's head, like real bad, and I love that. So I will say that like the big difference in American football, that in the states and in Mexico, like the whole atmosphere around football and preparation from players that is actually increasing here in Mexico because players are now starting to see that they can become pro players around the world in the States, Canada, Europe. So I love how we are proving that we have what it takes.
Yes, sir. I agree with you. And until we met, I really didn't realize it was as big as what it was. And now you've caught my interest in this as well.
Nice.
Hope to have some more people that play there, or people that, or personnel with them come talk on the show, because I'm all about the opportunity, and I think this gives you guys opportunity. And we can look here and see the game film that you have that you can take anywhere to show that, hey, I'm ready for game situations, 60 yards out. Just give me the shot. So it's pretty.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me, in terms of like playing for actual Mexican team, how does that different than playing for the CFL or even, let's say you get in the XFL or NFL? But tell me specifically, how does that change playing?
Well, right now, like the Mexican Pro League it's growing. So I love about it. Like every year you see a big difference between the last years to this year, in terms of talent, in terms of everything. But we still have it's not a long way. I don't think it's gonna take too much. But right now, professional football players, we don't live out of football. So we have to have like a second job.
Gotcha.
So preparation, it's kind of hard. So us players, we try to give our best every game, every practice, every time we can work out, we can practice, we try to give our best, because we're actually we're making this league grow. We want this league to grow because we know it's gonna be hard to make millions here in Mexico playing football right now for us, but we're creating this part so future generations can be like, oh, I want to play pro football in Mexico, like people like, I want to play in the CFL, I want to play in the NFL, I want to play in the XFL. Like we're trying to make like this league, people look at it and be like, I want to play for this professional team.
Understood.
So it's different because when I was in Montreal, like you see all the preparation, all the workouts, film, everything. So yeah, it's in terms of I will say the biggest difference right now we have, it's preparation, because we have to have a second job. We're not focusing 100%, but like we tell fans, we're still giving our best every game, every practice, because we want to make this league grow.
Understood. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, like I said, I talked to Oscar yesterday for about an hour, and he did not have that experience in Mexico, but playing for a minor league team or arena team here in America is very similar to the experience that you're saying you're having right now as a professional in Mexico. So there is a difference, and I can see that. But I mean, that's how the NFL started too, man. I mean, they didn't make a lot of money at first, and then they had to work their way up and get to it. And even, I mean, before I was born, not shortly before, but before, they really weren't making that much money compared to now. Now it's just crazy. But yeah. Tell me, what's your greatest athletic accomplishments? Just give me a couple. I know you've got a couple long field goals here, and I'll play one that I haven't played yet. But go ahead, man.
Well, I will say one of the biggest accomplishments that I have, it's my my national championship with my college team. Like that team, I really felt it like a family. Like we knew we deserved it. I got to kick the game-winning field goal, 54 yards.
That's awesome.
That championship game, and then like in Mexico that year, there were two leagues back those days in Mexico, like CONADE and ONEFA, those two college leagues. So every team, they play in their conference. They play like a championship game between their conference, and then we played a national championship. So that year in 2017, we got to the final. We won the championship, and then a week later, we won the national championship. And that was where I feel like that was my second biggest accomplishment, because I was named like MVP in a national championship. How many times do you hear a kicker is the MVP of a final or a championship game? So I made 10 out of 16 points that game.
Wow.
So yeah, I will say that was like, right now, In terms of winning, I would say those two, the
Awesome.
national championships.
Awesome. I hope you have the opportunity to do some more, man. Top that list off with something a little better, but I don't know, dude. That's a pretty good one right there. That's a lifetime achievement. People search for that you just stated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, it's been great. I loved it. I mean, I love being. I love like here in Mexico, like, and overall, kickers are like, oh, you're the kicker. Oh, you're the kicker. Oh, it's just the kicker. But I'm trying to bring like here in Mexico, like being a kicker, it's actually the real deal too, because we have a lot of opportunities to play somewhere else, like because of soccer. There's a lot of talent of players who could actually kick, and I'm trying to make like the kicking. It's the big deal here in Mexico.
Understood. Do you do any kind of like community service or stuff with youth or anything, trying to just, get more out about the game, make it a little more popular? I wasn't sure how you guys did with your team, your pro team. I don't know if you did any kind of, fundraising or philanthropy events or anything like that.
Yeah, we in doing proteins, we do like services where kids come play with us, go practice with us. We visit schools. We try to make like more names out of the teams. Like we have right now, Reyes de Jalisco have a camp for players, kids,
Awesome.
where they have like different positions, QBs, running backs, wide receivers. So they're trying to bring like new generations get more interested in football, so the pro league can start growing as well.
Gotcha. I mean, this is kind of offhand, but do you guys have like the youth leagues there? Do you have youth football and like does the schools, elementary and high school, do they have football programs in there? Is that part of life there?
It's not like that. We don't have like, I mean, high schools, they actually do have football teams. You actually get scholarships to play in high school here in Mexico.
Gotcha.
In some teams, but there's also club teams here for kids. So they start like playing there, and then the college they just give like the scholarship to them.
Understood.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of leagues here in Mexico. There's phew, I will say more than 100 clubs
Wow.
around the country, and
Yep.
that's small percentage. I mean, I bet some Mexican guys are laughing at me because I don't know actually the real number, because there's a lot of football players here in Mexico.
I understand. And I have to ask, I didn't expect you to know the exact number, so no worries. I was just curious, it's kind of part of life here in America. You grow up, you play some sports throughout school or before they have them offered in school. And most kids, I'd say, they kind of pick a sport to specialize in if they're going to do it, and then they roll with it. Some play multiple sports, but for the most part, if somebody's going to be a baseball player, they're playing baseball all through their life, and then they're trying. So that basically, I was just curious if that was a common thing that way.
Yeah, actually, it is. Like, there's kids that I know that his father played football, his grandfather played football, his great grandfather played football, and they're like
Awesome.
generations of football players here in Mexico.
That's
In my
awesome.
case, I'm the first in my family, in both sides from my mom and dad, who actually play football. So I hope my kid likes football and he starts kicking as well.
Hey, you got to get him started early, man, by that little tiny tee and little football.
Actually, he's 1 year old, and about a month ago, I hold him the foot like a small football, and he just kick it. So I was like so proud of that.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's probably genetics at this point. I mean, the way you've been playing the past few years, that's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, man, what What makes you stand out from other athletes, whether it be Mexican athletes or American? It really doesn't matter. What makes you stand out as a person and athlete?
Well, the funny thing is I'm a big guy. I mean, you don't see like big kickers.
What'd you weigh? 240, I think is what I saw. Is that right?
245, I think. And I'm
Gotcha.
6'2".
Oh,
So
wow. You are a big guy.
when you look at me, you're like, oh, you're not a kicker, man. But I'm like, yeah. Actually, I just know how to kick. So I will say that I'm a left-footed. So
Gotcha.
when you hear a Mexican big kicker that it's left-footed who kick field goals, punts, and kickoffs, like you kind of gain a little bit of attention from other people.
Yeah, there's no way around that.
Plus, I will say I'm giving my heart out. So that's something I will say that I do. I give everything with passion, and I think that's something that I'm proud of. That I give 150% in every kick during practice. I get so pissed when I missed a field goal in practice because I know I can make those kicks, and I'm like a perfectionist. So that's something I think my mentality is. I will say it's something that made me stand from other players.
Understood. I'll tell you, man, I only got one more question for you. I really don't want to keep us on here too long, but it's been a good interview and it's been solid. So, hey, let me ask you this. What would you like to achieve from your athletic career? What are you looking to accomplish in the long term here?
Well, I still have my dream. I just saw that last week that a 30-year-old punter signed with the Saints, a rookie punter signed with the Saints.
Yep.
So, I mean, what I would love to achieve, obviously, is to make an NFL roster. But if that doesn't happen, and if I get the chance to play for many years in the XFL, I mean, I just want to play against the best. I just want to have I'm trying to have just my shot to prove. I want that, like, to show them that I can kick. So if it's the XFL, CFL, NFL, I just want that chance to prove what I can do. And that's like my main goal right now, to prove the XFL, to prove anyone, the DC Defenders, that any team I can play, I can kick, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it. So yeah, that's what I would love to achieve, to have that chance, to have that opportunity to prove it.
Understand. I mean, that's very respectable. And honestly, like I said, I hope you get your chance because I think that you'll be comfortable in wherever you end up. In terms of the XFL, I mean, you said you've had some communication. What's it looking like for any kind of opportunities there? Anything that you can speak of?
Well, what is going on right now? What that I've seen is that I got my rights got drafted by the DC Defenders a few weeks ago.
Understood.
So as far as right now, I was looking at it, and they put me right now on the roster, on the Pages roster, but I know that doesn't mean nothing. I'm still trying to make my way in, try to convince them. So yeah, I mean, what I've seen is looking good. I hope I can make it. I hope we can reach something out, and I hope I have the chance to go out there and kick. So yeah, I mean, what I've seen so far, it's going good. It's going that way, and well, I'm praying. Right now I'm thankful with Coach Ray and Mr. Hutchins for giving me that chance. I'm really thankful for that. It's a blessing because that's something that I never thought that would happen. So right now I'm really thankful with them, and I thank God. I pray every day for that opportunity, and my wife prays too, and we're all praying for that opportunity because it's something we all dreamed of. and we're trying our best. So hope it happens.
Hey, I'll be praying for you as well, brother. The opportunity that if you receive it would make me very thrilled as well. And I hope come next year I can say, hey, Enrique is just balling over there in DC with Jordan Teamu and Abram Smith and all the other athletes that way. It'd be fantastic, man. And I really do wish you luck in your career. And I'll say that was the first time you've mentioned that you spoke with DC. We talked before and you didn't tell me that. So I didn't know that, man. Honestly, I did not know that you had got rights drafted by them. So at this point, your opportunity's there. Get the call, show up, dude, and show out. And I'm very, very confident you'll secure that spot.
Thanks, man. I mean, they have a really good kicker in Matt. I follow him. I picked him a few times during my fantasy teams, so I know what he's capable of, and I'm excited because he's really a good kicker, and I love competing, and it's fun. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying my best to bring what I can do and to show. That's like my main goal too, as well, to show that we have the talent here in Mexico, that we can compete against anyone, that they just need to believe in us, that we can prove them that there's football talent around the globe, and here in Mexico we have all the talent it takes to change many teams and show them.
Hey, that's a good statement to stick by there, man. And like I said, I mean, keeping that humbleness and just holding that chip on your shoulder should give you more of a springboard and motivation, I would say, when you finally get to the position that you need to be in.
Yeah, I will say I have the chip on my shoulder because what happens I never came back to the CFL, and I'm gonna be honest, there were 3 rough years where I never got nothing, like all closed doors, everything. I thought of retirement a lot, but like I said, my wife and I, we pray a lot, and she actually convinced me to keep pursuing this dream. So yeah, I mean, right now I have I want to prove to myself, to prove everyone that all the faith that they put on me, I'm doing my best to show them that I'm not done and I still have a plenty of football career.
Yes, sir. Bring the heat, Enrique. I'll be paying attention to you, brother. And if you ever need anything, you reach out, send a message, give a call, whatever you need, man, and then we'll conversate. But I think that no matter what happens, you're going to be successful, even if that's working your normal job, you know. But I can tell that, just like I've talked to other players, you know, there's some I've talked to that the chance is slim to none that they may make it in. But I mean, you really have an opportunity, and your background is pretty diverse. There's not going to be too many players like you in terms of Mexican professional kickers. So, I mean, keep up your hustle, man, because you're not just a name. You've actually got skill to back it up.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Same here. You have a friend here in Mexico whenever you want. Appreciate all the words, and yeah, I mean, I'll try my best. You can count on that I'll give my best, and hopefully in a few months we can have another conversation here talking about how great the season went.
Yes, sir. That'd be awesome. Heck, I'm getting you on in season. What are you talking about? I want to know. Yeah, let's do it, man. But yeah, Enrique, I guess that's it for us, dude. It's been about an hour, so it's been fantastic. I appreciate you coming on greatly.
No, I appreciate the invitation. It means a lot, and thank you so much for this chat, for this nice interview, and well, thank you so much.
Very, very welcome. Before you roll out, do you have like your social media accounts or anywhere you want people following you or looking at you? So I got your Twitter down there flashing, but if you care, go ahead and say it out loud as well, because this show is also an audio show. So,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's my Twitter account. It's at Yenny. I don't know how to say like the
_
79. Yenny, it's YENNY, and it's the same for my Instagram account.
Okay, so you do have Insta as well.
Yeah,
I'll find
they're both
you.
open.
I'll make sure both of these are on the notes in like clickable links so they're easy to access. But yeah, man, keep up your grind and good luck to your future. And like I said, I'll be praying for you as well, brother.
Thanks, man. Same here. I'll be praying for you, and let's make it happen.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Enrique.
Same, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. So this is what the XFL is about, in my opinion, opportunity. And I've brought multiple individuals on that have really, they have a time to shine. If they can just get their chance, they're definitely going to do it. And I feel like Enrique is definitely one. So good luck, Enrique, in your future. And if you do make it to DC and you're starting kicker, I mean, just know I'll be rooting for you, man. All right, let's move forward. I've got the interview with Oscar Scott next. It's pre-recorded. Now, I will say it recorded on my laptop mic, so it's a little different than what this sounds. It doesn't sound as good, but it's a decent interview in terms of sound. Now, in terms of actual content, it's up to par with the interview I just had with Enrique. It's great. So check it out. Listen to it. It's Oscar Scott. He's a professional linebacker as well. He played for Mexico as well at one point in his career. Right now, he's kind of got some downtime, but he'll definitely speak some more interview and tell you more about it. Thanks to XFL and XFLboard.com as always. Appreciate you guys greatly. Like I say, always great privilege and honor covering the XFL. So appreciate it. And it's a great honor and privilege to bring on guys like Enrique or any of the guys that I've brought on so far, giving them a voice, giving them a story, giving them somewhere where people can find out more about them as a player. You know, me and him have spoke on the phone where we had an interview online before this, and I did not know that his rights went to DC. So knowing that now, I know he's got a lot better position. So that's awesome. And the fact that he doesn't have that as his buy-in in, he knows he still has to go in there and work for a spot is fantastic. So good luck, man. Again. Tuesday, I'll have Matty Fresh from Springball Boulevard on. That should be a good one. Matty's a big name and personality come XFL, and watching his show was one of my first actual XFL podcasts that I liked, with exception to a couple others. Great guy, good host, very informative. So definitely look forward to that Tuesday. I will say the show will be switching off Sundays and Thursdays. No longer doing that just because of NFL football, and we'll be watching that. So going to be switching, probably looking at Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays until the season's over for the fall. So check that out as well. Another thing, I will probably be using some different streaming software going forward. I don't know if I'm going to stream to X or Twitter anymore. We'll see how it goes, but there's a few different places that I believe could really be utilized for this and give us more interactive approach. So look forward to that. But that's it for me, guys. As always, this interview is about an hour long with Oscar. Watch it, see what you think. And then that's the end of the show. We'll be back Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Central, as always. Appreciate you watching. Great pleasure. Thank you all for coming on. And like I said, I enjoy it. I don't know what I'd do without it sometimes. How's it going today, Oscar? It's great to see you. Glad you joined the show.
Doing great, man. Glad to be here. Excited for the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I've researched you as much as possible, I think, leading up to this. You've got quite the extensive career in terms of where you played and what you've done. So looking forward to getting to know you more. Just before we go, I mean, can you tell me more about you, where you played? We'll get in depth in it too. Tell me your age, anything that's relevant.
Yes, sir. So I'm 26. I played high school ball in Kansas City before going on to play at Bethany College, which is kind of a small school out in Kansas. After college, I went and played in a senior bowl down in South Carolina. which kind of gave me my first, opportunity to get in front of professional coaches, get in front of some scouts and stuff like that. Following that, I got signed to the Bydgoszcz Archers in Poland. So following that game, I trained for maybe 2 months after that, and then they flew me straight out to Warsaw. 3-hour drive from there to Bydgoszcz, which was a large city in Poland. So that was kind of my first opportunity dipping my toes into the professional game. After camp, COVID hit, kind of spread all across Europe pretty fast. So I was actually on one of the last flights out of Europe coming back to the U.S. before really everything was totally halted and shut down.
Wow.
So that put kind of a quick end to my first opportunity. But it ended up working out because I came back, and right at that time, Brian Woods, who I now believe runs the USFL maybe, or one of those leagues, he was running the spring league at the time, which was kind of the kind of his project, which ended up kind of forming itself into other leagues. But the spring league was his kind of his only thing at that time. And they were the first league to do like the bubble concept for football down in San Antonio. So that was on Fox Sports 1. So it was on national TV and stuff like that. So I signed with the Blues. Head coach Ted Cottrell, he was the only coach in the spring league that gave me an opportunity. He's the former head coach of the Houston Roughnecks and the original XFL, Ted Cottrell.
Gotcha.
So he was a great guy. He gave me my first opportunity in the spring league. Got to play on national TV. Got to play with a lot of former NFL guys, a lot of big name college guys. It's like Shea Patterson and JT Barrett were some of the quarterbacks there. So it was a lot of these name guys that I've heard of since I was in high school and stuff like that, and kind of getting that opportunity was really cool, and kind of my first, opportunity with that caliber of players.
What year was that? What
that was 2020.
Gotcha.
So that was during COVID, and they had us all down there in San Antonio, living in the same hotel, all the different teams and stuff like that. And they just bus us to and from I don't know what that stadium is called down there in San Antonio, but where UTSA plays and stuff like that. They had all the Fox Sports 1 camera crews and stuff set up. So it ended up being a really good situation, especially for a guy like me, this is just getting my start and trying to get, some eyes on me and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. I'm going to share some videos while you talk. Go ahead. Keep talking. No worries. I just want to show
yes, sir.
What you're talking about.
When that, and this was I started with my long snapping, kind of got me an opportunity in the league itself. I had done it a little bit in college, and coming from a small college, it's tough to get an opportunity because they hear Bethany College. Nobody knows Bethany College, and I say, hey man, like I can on snap, I'll play linebacker, I'll do whatever you need from me, I'll do it. And I remember my first time getting on the team, and I'm on there as a long snapper, and I tell Cottrell, head coach, really good guy, I'm like, hey, can I get in here with these linebacker drills? And he's like, yeah, whatever. Long snappers normally stand over by the water cooler and kind of talk about golf. You know what I mean? They sit over there and talk about the golf game, and I'm like, hey, let me hop in with these linebacker drills. So I get in with the linebacker drills. I end up getting myself in there and team and stuff. And I remember we're sitting in the meeting room, and Cottrell goes, you can kind of play football. And I was like, it was one of those it was like such a confirmation for me, because I know I'm a linebacker. I know what I can do. And just hearing a guy like that, he was a coach in the NFL for a ton of years, and he coached great players. And just him saying, hey, man, you can kind of play football was like a confirmation that everything I've been doing and everything I've been working on kind of was coming into fruition. You know what I mean?
Understood.
But I got done with that. Ended up getting a little bit of time in our last couple of games playing linebacker, and then again COVID shut that down. Like 75% of the dudes all got COVID at the exact same time in this spring league. So that shut down, and I ended up signing with the Salina Liberty, which is a CIF arena team. That was my next stop, and that's where I played my first full season, playing linebacker, playing defensive end. And I was still doing the long snap thing a little bit, but of course with arena it's different because you don't really, utilize that in the same way. But that was my first real full season of getting to, play my natural position, linebacker, as well as working a little D end when we had, injuries or roster issues or stuff like that. So that was with Salina.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yes,
before
sir.
we go on, your high school career.
Yes, sir.
Did you play linebacker in high school as well?
Yeah, I played linebacker and D end in high school as well.
Got you. Now, I don't know if my research is correct, so you can please correct me if I'm wrong, but did you win a state championship there?
We lost the state championship, but we did go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That was I found some articles. I dug up some stuff and was reading, so that's why I was curious. Yeah,
we lost to Christian Brothers Academy in St. Louis, and that was in that state. I don't know what that stadium's called either, but where the current XFL team in St. Louis plays and where the Rams used to play and stuff like that was where the Missouri State Championship was, and we lost by 6 points, I think. So still
sad, but it's still
tough subject. But so I go get my first, real full season playing defense like I wanted to. Yeah, and these highlights here, I mean, these guys all in the spring league, pretty much everybody I played against had NFL experience or was D1. So just being able to move at the speed that I needed to, against these guys was a confirmation for me that, I was doing it right. And the work I've been putting in was paying off in a sense. After Salina, that season would have been 2021, I believe. I ended up signing with the Pioneros in Mexico following that season in December. So I headed to Mexico that following year, 2022, and I played a full season there. That's in the FAM league, where Trent Richardson was down there and stuff like that. So that was one of the best run leagues as far as the film, as far as the fans, as far as the way the teams operated. I mean, we were flying to Cancun or flying to Cabo for a game.
Oh wow!
We were going to and teams were going to Cancun. Teams were going all over the place, and they really love football down there, which is kind of something I didn't expect. But I mean, they got the little kids playing it. They got girls flag football. It's all year round for them. So they're super into it down there. Super into the team in the city that we were in. So it was a really great time. So that was kind of my first opportunity overseas to really play a full season. And then this most recent year, I've been with the Tallahassee team, and also some other little, independent arena teams down here in Florida where I live. And that's kind of just been, for me, an opportunity to stay at home. I've had some stuff I wanted to take care of. We're in the process of buying a house right now. I just got engaged to my longtime girlfriend. So they're just kind of – so I appreciate you. There's been kind of some personal things where it was a good opportunity for me to still get to play, still get some film, and kind of take care of what I need to take care of before this next season comes, and I'll be traveling again, whether that be overseas or an arena team, or more. That kind of gave me a gap year to still get film, still show coaches that I'm active, still making plays, but at the same time, let me take care of my business a little bit for a year. And that's kind of where we're at now. Training every day, just waiting on an opportunity, really.
Gotcha. In terms of, I mean, like you said, you're just trying to stay in shape and keep everything rolling with that makes sense. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that, man. Do you have any kind of expectations moving forward for who you want to play for or where you want to play?
I'm pretty open to it. I learned that, at a young age when I was first coming out of college, for this whole business, football and trying to play football for money, beggars can't be choosers in a sense. You're looking for an opportunity, you're looking for any chance you can find to get film, to get some eyes on you, to show that you can play, to show that you can make plays, and that you do deserve that opportunity. So for me, I'm kind of open to stuff. I do have a couple of, preferred destinations, I would say, in my head. And my agents at the Gridiron crew, Colin, Nick, Dallas, they're all helping me out, and we kind of have our own, little conversations where we're discussing potential, opportunities and potential stuff that we're all looking for. Really what it comes down to, and I guess it's something, I think that all players in this world of I don't know what you would call it, football, below the NFL, minor league football or whatever. What you're looking for really is,
I say developmental is the term.
Developmental. Perfect. That's a great word. For this whole world of developmental football, what we should all be looking for, is a consistent program that's putting quality film, in a place that you can get to it. It doesn't matter how good you play. If the film, was recorded on a Nokia flip phone, like, you're not going to get much out of it. You know what I mean? People aren't going to be taking it serious. You want to have a consistent schedule against quality opponents with quality film and a program that's been established. They're going to take care of you financially. They know you're going to, take care of your living expenses, stuff like that. So it's kind of a standard that I think is getting a lot better. It's taken a while because, for so long, I think teams could kind of do people wrong and, it would just get brushed under the rug and not talked about. So now, it's been a lot better with these developmental leagues, developmental teams coming out, that can say, hey, we do have the financial backing. We do have guys that are invested in this and care about this and, want this to work out. And it's not just a something fun for them to do or something fun for them to put together. They actually care about it. So that's kind of, something that's important to me for not only myself, but for my guys, that are all kind of coming on the same journey.
Makes sense. And I mean, for one, I'll say you're very humble talking to you. Like you said, you take any opportunity given to you, and that shows your humbleness and how you feel about your athletic career. But I'll say too that, you've seen over the years, I know, like, how old are you? I didn't ask you that. I forgot.
26. 25. I turned 26 in a couple of days.
Yeah. So no worries.
Yeah.
There, over the years, there's always been, these hastily put together minor leagues is what I call it. I don't call that a developmental league. Something like the XFL or USFL, that's what I consider developmental.
Right.
They're giving players the opportunity to make that stepping stone and then giving you quality play time with a quality schedule, as well as giving you tons of film opportunities if you play.
Right.
I've seen over the years in athletics, I've seen a lot of these second-hand, third-hand teams that really all they're doing is combine workouts to make some cash, or such. So I understand exactly what you're saying. And I think with the evolution of spring football, the XFL, the USFL, it really opens the doors up for opportunities for others to come in and say, hey, we're legitimate and we have legitimate product. We have a brand. And so, researching it, looking up your time in Mexico, I did not realize that there was that big of a following. I knew that they participated and had clubs and such, but man, it is huge down there. And there's a whole different fandom of individuals that are following the sport. So it's pretty interesting. And I think you got a really good head on your shoulders that you're working, and you can see that in your career and where you've played and what you've been doing. You've just been staying busy. So good stuff, man.
That's what I try to tell guys. Cause I mean, I've played with, whether it be college or any of these leagues, or I've played with dudes who are, immensely talented. Talent is never the issue. But they're sitting at home on the couch and they're saying, when's somebody going to call me? It's like, hey man, there's a lot of guys out there. We're all trying to get this opportunity. Nobody's coming to your living room to get you.
Nope, you got to hustle. You got to do your end.
Yeah. You got to kind of, I say like buy the ticket was a big mantra I had for a long time. And by that, I mean, put yourself out there and get yourself into an opportunity where, somebody can find you and somebody can, sign you. And like you said, you're looking for, just to get your foot in the door of any league where dudes have signed from that league to the CFL or signed from that league to the NFL. And that's huge for me. Like you said, it's like, obviously XFL, USFL, guys from that are always going to the NFL. IFL, CIF, 2 arena leagues, NAL, dudes from that are going to CFL, going to the NFL. Europe, the European League of Football, and Mexico. Every year, you'll have a dude or two end up, really having a good year, and they go to the CFL or NFL. So it's a situation where, you're just trying to do the best you can, put yourself in the best situations, opportunities you can to just take one step up. Any step up you can take, you're on the right path. So that's kind of where my mind's at for my journey, and just keep taking little steps up as best I can.
Makes total sense. And I'm going to ask you some more questions here. We're going to jump around a little bit, probably just because we've had a little offhand discussion, so no worries. So let's go back to your time in Mexico. What were some of the biggest challenges you had playing there? Or, I guess you lived there during the season. How was that?
Yes, sir. So I was there for 3.5 months. I want to say 3.5, 4 months. And lucky for me, I got a little bit of Spanish, just enough to, I can like order some beers or something, or I can talk to the Uber driver or whatever.
You're doing better than I can.
So that was big. I know a lot of my guys on the team, a lot of the other Americans really had nothing. They had like hola, and that was that's where it ran out. So for those boys, it was tough. I've done a little bit of traveling. Like I said, I was in Poland too, so I'm kind of comfortable, in foreign situations and stuff. And with the translator on my phone, I can kind of get by, and I like doing stuff. So I'd be downtown checking out kind of the old Mexican cities where they have, the museums and the churches and the little shops and stuff. So I really enjoyed the traveling aspect of it and kind of getting to experience a different culture. But challenges, like it's a tough job, man. They want a lot from you. To them, these Americans they have, you're like they're like prize fighter or something. They bring you down there. They got you in an apartment, and one day they'll just come pick you up. Hey, we got to go do this appearance at the school. We got to go sign autographs for these people. We got to go take pictures. And the like you said, the people down there love it. So it's like, if you're an American football player and you're in Mexico to play football for money, people down there, treat you like you're a superstar or something. So there's always a lot to do, a lot going on. And at the same time, it's a very competitive league. And kind of a lot of things that people don't understand is for Mexico, the Mexican guys that are playing on the team, probably only, the upper half of them are getting paid. The bottom half of it, it's true, they're working full-time jobs, coming out there trying to play. All the Americans are fully paid, fully taken care of. Our flights are all covered. We have a huge apartment with a pool. It's all paid for. Everything's taken care of. So when you step on the field, a lot of these guys feel some type of way, and I don't blame them for feeling some type of way. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, I just worked 10 hours of construction. Now I'm out here and I'm going to try and take some heads off. So it's a different thing, and it's something you got to be ready for. Where first day on the ground, there's a lot of guys that are out to prove a point and out to show something. And that's not to say I had any issues with any of the guys, because I don't. I loved all the I made a lot of really good friends who are all Mexican guys that were on the team. But it's definitely something that people aren't aware of and people aren't ready for. So when they get there, these Mexican guys are trying to prove a point. You know, they're trying to show
Yep.
that they play ball too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different thing.
They got a little chip on their shoulder.
They got a hell of a chip on their shoulder.
Did you, in terms of the actual playing, I mean, is that all the rules? They're all similar, almost the same to American football?
Yeah, what I loved about the football Americano de Mexico or whatever is what the league I was in, was it was full NFL rules with NFL footballs,
Gotcha.
which is a little thing, but like I don't know. I think that's important not only for offensive positions, but like if I do long snap, which I always like to keep in my arsenal because it's like the more you can do,
Yep.
whatever. But yeah, we were full NFL rules, NFL footballs. Like the refs were trained on the most up to date NFL rules and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
that I thought was huge. I think that's something that any new league or especially Europe or Mexico or Poland or wherever doing that full trying to mirror the NFL rules wise is huge, just for the look of the game and the pace of the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they had anything like Canada does where they do things a little different, but it's almost the same.
They keep it pretty much exactly the same. Yeah,
that's cool. In terms of the fans, how's the fan output there? I mean, what's in your mind, or maybe what's an average, rough estimate of fan counts at those games?
I couldn't even tell you. I know every stadium we were at was close to full.
Gotcha.
If not, full.
I couldn't find much footage. I found like your game film and stuff, but I couldn't find much of the actual stadium. So I was just curious, basically, what that looked like.
There's a team in I want to say Guadalajara. I'm not sure where it is, but I mean their fans there. It was our last game of the season, and they were standing room only, surrounding the end zones. The stands were full. It was packed house. So
that's awesome.
And then like the Chihuahua team, that's where I just said his name earlier. Anyway, former NFL guy, running back, he was playing for the Chihuahua team, and they were having like huge like Star Wars themed halftime shows with drones and bands and like a full stage set up with people up there playing music. It was like a full production.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's cool, man. And a lot of guys down there, like you think of Mexico, you don't really know what to expect. But there's a lot of guys down there with a lot of money and a lot of guys that are really invested in the communities and really invested in putting something in their hometown, that they can be proud of. So it's nice to have that financial backing. Yeah,
and to know you're supported, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. To know you're going to get taken care of, and they're going to fill, their end of the deal for sure.
That's awesome, dude. That's what I mean. That to me, the cultural difference there, I don't really understand because I haven't been that way, but it's very curious to know how it's all handled. And even talking to you right now, I mean, basically you're almost saying that you were a celebrity down there because you played American football.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome though. I see that same team is moving to Dallas. Did you see that? The international.
Yeah, it's going to be owned by the same guy. So our owner was from the city that we were in, Querétaro, and he had his whole company and stuff in Dallas. And so he's going to go ahead, and I guess they're doing this IFA thing, International Football Alliance, where they're going to have Mexican teams. They're going to have like Cancun, I believe. They're going to have it might be Guadalajara. They're going to have a couple of different teams in Mexico and a couple of different teams in the States. And that'll be really interesting to see, how they're able to kind of do that, playing back and forth. Yeah, this guy here, the the dude on the far right is the owner. He was the owner. Yes, sir. He was our owner in Mexico, and he's still the owner in Dallas. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to do that and kind of how they're able to put it together. But I do like the idea of it. And I do like the idea of getting, a lot of Mexican guys the opportunity to kind of get more film, because there's dudes down there that can play. There's a lot of dudes down there that can play, and it's I want them just as much as anyone else to get their fair opportunity to get some film and to get their name out there and to make the most of this situation, because football's only here for so long, you know what I mean, in everybody's life. So I think it's a good idea to try and get these guys some exposure while also doing the little cross the border thing would be nice. A little rivalry back and forth.
Yeah, I think any kind of expansion, especially legitimate, is a good idea.
Yeah,
as long as it's a legitimate thing and we're not doing it cutting corners and such, I believe it's a good thing. And connecting those markets is going to be difficult, but if they can find some kind of solution and coordination, then it could be a pretty successful thing from what you're saying in my own research. Because Mexico wants football.
I've said it a million times, and I'm not sure what it would take to get to this point, but to me, it feels like Major League Baseball does it the best, where you have your major league clubs, and then you have AAA, AA, and everything funnels through itself. Everything financially supports itself, and it's a quality system that's worked for a long time. So it's like, putting something together like that for football, which I'm sure we're years out from any kind of thing resembling that. But I mean, if you could get it where you had multiple leagues that all kind of fed each other, that were all, financially secure, had the right people running them, had the right, kind of a setup, I think, it would be beneficial for everyone. It'd be beneficial for the game. And it would be beneficial for all these small towns, that they would love to have their own professional football team that they can support, that they can, go see play and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. And I mean, a lot of people's testament, unfortunately, here in America is if it's not college or NFL, I'm not watching it.
Right.
So we really got to change that. And you got to show people the product's good. And that I use the XFL because I do the XFL. That's my thing.
Right.
But the first couple games we had in our season last year this year, I guess, but last season, they weren't the best. The quality of skill wasn't there, but week 5, week 4, you really started to see these teams click together and be coercive and do different things, and that's what people want to see, to know. The money end is cool, but then again, like you said, I mean, there's guys playing for free. There's guys that just want to try to get their names out. So I think there's ways to do this. But yeah, dude, I'm in agreement with you. Is let's get it out there. Let's get the product showing, and let's expand the American football market as much as possible.
I was watching an arena game the other day, and it was my old team I used to play for. And it was an overtime game, went back. It was one of the most incredible football games that I've ever watched in my life. Like NFL, anything. It was incredible. And I was just kind of threw it on because I was cleaning the house and just hanging out. I was like, let me see what my guys are up to. And it was incredible. And I was like, it's crazy to me that the only people watching this game are the, couple thousand in the arena right now, and maybe a couple hundred of us that for some reason have it on because we have some investment in it.
Yep.
And like you said, it's like most people will just say, it's not the NFL. It's not, D1 SEC football. So,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I don't care. But it's really incredible football with, really good players out there that, like you said, we need more people to get interested in, and we need, to get all these leagues running at a legitimate level that we can have that interest and kind of build the game for sure.
Yes, sir. I agree. Let's talk more about you now. We've shared a lot of your background in terms of football and athletics, and we've talked pretty in depth about where you've been, what you've done, but kind of want to understand you more as a player. So, I mean, just from the get-go, what motivated you to play football? When did you start?
So when I was actually growing up for several years, my dad does tourism, like catamaran charters and stuff like that. So I lived in Belize, like Central America. Yeah, I lived in Belize for 10 years growing up, up until high school. So I remember one day, I don't know, my dad's always, loved football. He's from we're all from, Kansas City area. So we've been big on the Chiefs my whole life. So my dad always would put it on, and I was kind of always, whatever, like, when can I watch cartoons? When I was a real little kid, I was like, it didn't really hit with me. And it was like overnight, a switch flipped, and I don't know what it was, but I remembered like it was the Raiders were playing the Titans, and I shouldn't care. It was like a Monday night game. Both teams weren't very good. And I was like, I told my dad, I was like, I need to watch the Raiders play the Titans. And he's like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I just gotta watch. I gotta see it. And that was kind of like it went from overnight I didn't really care to like I needed it. And from that point on, I consumed every type of football I could find. Like in the neighborhood, all the kids would go play like little pickup games and stuff. And then in the summers, I'd come back to Kansas City. If we had a little bit, if my dad had some time off or whatever. And I would do all the like high schools, like summer camps, where they just get all the kids out there and play 7-on-7 and stuff like that. So that was kind of my introduction to actual, organized football. And then I was lucky enough to go to a high school where our football program was massive. It was funny. It's one of the only schools I know does it kind of this way, but they didn't cut anybody because we were a big football school, whatever. And so instead of doing that, they had freshman team, sophomore team, JV varsity. So we had at any time, we had about 200 kids in the football program at any given time. So if you wanted to put the work in and rise up, you can. Even a guy like me coming from Belize, Central America, never played before. They say, hey, you're on freshman team now. And they'd take 4 or 5 freshmen and they thought, we're really going to be something, and they'd pull them up. And then the rest of the freshmen, it was kind of like, hey, survival of the fittest, trying to figure it out. But that was perfect for a guy like me because, like I said, I love football. And I just needed, game reps and the opportunity to get myself out there. So I worked my way all the way up, the long way from freshman team all the way up to varsity over my 4 years of high school ball. So yeah, I kind of got lucky in that situation. I fell into a good program with a lot of really good players that where they gave you an opportunity. It's like sink or swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, coming in a big program, if you're not used to it, or like where I went to high school and played football, I was all state and everything, but I think we had 24 guys playing.
Yeah.
It was not very big. I didn't have to do a lot to show out. I didn't have to do a lot to show my skills. Coming from your end, that's a lot of competitive players. That's a lot of people going for spots. I mean, that's difficult. You got to be A+, elite athlete almost to show out the program. So
yeah, I mean, I told people like we'd get to the playoffs and we would start having dudes double up numbers because we had so many people on the roster, so many kids on the roster. So it was really an opportunity where it's like, hey, we're not going to turn anybody away. We're not going to cut anybody. We're not going to tell anybody they can't play. But it's, at the end of the day, sink or swim. You know what I mean? So it was a great opportunity. And we had, pretty much every year you'd have at least 10 dudes, minimum 10 dudes in the senior class that would go on to some form of college football pretty much every single year. So it was
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a cool deal for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have those high school stories, so I'm glad you got to do that, man. I mean, seriously, I'm sure it impacted you immensely as a player.
Oh yeah, I mean, I got out of high school, and I was always, for me in high school, it was always a struggle to just get myself, on the field because it was, 40 linebackers trying, all fighting for that opportunity to get on the field. So when I went to college and I chose a small school just because they, gave me a really, really good offer, made it super, super worth it financially, took care of almost all my expenses, which is huge. I don't have loans. All my college stuff was taken care of. But when I got to college, I expect the same kind of thing. So I'm going in as a freshman and I'm like, I've done this before. You know what I mean? I've been bottom of the barrel. I've, done all this. And I remember the first day of college, our first meeting, there was at the linebacker spot, there was starting 4, backup, 3rd string, 4th string, and then my name at the bottom, and then my name at the bottom. And I was like, all right, like we're gonna see. And I ended up being me and my roommate were the only two. There was only like I think 5 or 6 freshmen that would travel that year, and me and my roommate were the only 2 freshman linebackers that ended up being on the travel team, being on the roster every single game the whole season, played as a freshman, and then started my whole sophomore year. So,
wow.
But it didn't bother. I watched it and I saw it on there, and to me it was fun. I saw it on the board and it was funny. You know what I mean? It was almost like, all right, like I've done this before. I've been way lower than 5th string before. Let's go ahead and see what we can make shake.
You were ready, sir. You were definitely ready. Most people, their eyes would get this big, but you're let's work.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. Your personal values. We talked a lot about football, but what personal values do you have? What do you hold important to you, and how has that impacted you as a player and even as a person, if you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Me really, like, I think respect is huge. I think building bridges is huge. And I think, just doing things the right way for the right reasons is huge for me. And I am, a man of faith and stuff like that. But I kind of keep those things a little bit more personal. And for me, on a broader sense, it's every coach that I get in front of, every coach that I work with, every teammate that I work with, I want them to know, that I am doing this for the right reasons. I respect them. And you can ask any coach, and this is something I'm kind of proud of myself, is any coach that I've played for in any league has good things to say about me. Even teams where it didn't really work out for whatever reason, I have no ill will, and all those guys to this day, I have them in my phone. If something comes up, they win a big game or something, I'll text them, I'll give them a call, whatever. And I think that's just kind of indicative of the player that I am and the person that I am. That every player, every coach, every player I played with, I have nothing but respect and nothing, but good things to say about them. And I do feel like I go about my business the right way. I was a captain in college, and I never was the guy, to try and yell or scream or whatever, a little pregame speech here and there. But to me, it all came down to I knew all the guys on the roster. I was in there early every day. I was doing my work. I was helping people with the playbook, even if it's my backup. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about that. And then going on to the pro game, there were situations where I was somebody's backup. And at the same time, where I'm gunning for their spot, I'm still going to help them out in any way that I can, whether that be with playbook or what I'm seeing on film or what I'm seeing when I do get my reps in the game. And stuff like that, being able to play any position, being able to help in any way I can. That's the values of football that I hold, near and dear to my heart. And I think that it's shown. And I think that any coach that I've played for, any player that I've been around can tell you the same things about me.
Yes, sir. Makes sense. Good answer. Appreciate that. I mean, from talking to you, I was going to ask you this question initially, but I'm glad we kind of worked through and talked about more stuff before we got to this. Because, I mean, your experience and what you're saying is evident in what you just said there, for sure.
Right.
What do you think? No problem. What do you think your strengths are as a player? So actually linebacker, long snapping. What are some of your strengths? Work ethic, whatever.
So we can start long snapping just because that's easy. It'll get out of the way. I put a lot of work into that. And it seems like such a kind of a little, whatever part of the game, but there's actually a lot of intricacies and there's a lot of things that, have to be done in a certain way for you to be effective at a high level long snapping. And I don't know if you saw the other week, but Doug Peterson, the head coach for the Jaguars, brought his son in on the preseason roster or whatever. Did you see that long snap?
I did not. I seen that he got cut, correct?
We brought him in as a tight end, I guess, and threw him out there at a long snap, and it was horrendous.
He's trying to give his boy the hookup.
Yeah, he's like anything to get you on this team. But I think it was like it went like 20 feet high. It was crazy. But it was for me, that was a perfect example of long snapping is kind of an art, and it's kind of something that you have to put a lot of hours into. Like, you can't put the Suns kid out there. And no disrespect to him, I don't think he wanted to be out there long snapping in the first place. I think they were like, hey, go do this. So no disrespect to him at all, but I just think it's a perfect example of, like, this is something you got to put work into, and it's timed. It's very objective. So I know that I can long snap at a high level. I know that I can take care of business in that way. From a linebacker point of view or linebacker perspective, reading an offense is far and away my strongest point of my game. I can read an offense, read where the play's going just about as fast as anyone. And I have confidence saying that because I put a lot of work into it, watch a lot of film, watch a lot of tendencies of the offense, stuff like that. So as far as reading goes, I mean, those first couple of steps, I usually can figure out exactly, what's going on and what we need to make happen. As far as, once the play starts, my speed, I feel like can get me there. And I'm able to figure out, where we're going, and then get there and be able to make a play when I do get there, and be able to kind of use my head and use my football IQ to make up for the fact that, I am a 6 foot tall, real undersized white linebacker. So I got to be able to do my best. I remember another funny story from the spring league. We're in Cottrell's office. We were watching film or whatever. And I had made some play. I'd come running in and made some play or whatever. And he's like, damn, Oscar, you're moving there or something. And I was like, I know you don't really see white guys move like that very often. And everyone started cracking up. I was like, I know we're all thinking it. We can come on now. Like, let's go. But well, no, not joking aside, messing around aside, it really does come down to I put a lot of work into this game, both with the film side, with all that, and as well physically. I'm working every day. I'm running every other day, lifting weights 6-7 days a week, doing the nutrition thing. My degree's in kinesiology,
Gotcha.
So I have a lot of experience in the strength and conditioning department. So. I try to put it all together, but my mental side and my leadership skills and stuff like that, I say would definitely be my strong suit.
Makes sense. And I mean, how could you not after your experience so far?
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of keeping yourself accountable there. I can feel it right now. I can see that you have to really, really keep yourself rolling. Some guys have a full staff trying to get them to this point, but you're doing it on your own, from what I understand. So
yeah, it was
besides your agents.
Yeah. They help me out a lot with the contracts, but I mean, when it comes down to actual football, I don't have a strength and conditioning coach. I don't have a nutritionist. I don't have, and when you do get on the team, a lot of these lower teams, they don't have all that. Nobody's holding your hand. Nobody's saying, all right, now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do that. You know what I mean? They kind of say, hey, make it happen. So it's something I'm used to, something that I kind of thrive under those circumstances when a lot of other guys, struggle with it.
That's got to be huge in your career, man. I mean, the ability to keep moving forward, even when you're pushed down, getting back up and rolling with it, or just keeping the motivation.
For sure.
I don't have any further athletic experience past high school, really. Just like, for example, doing a podcast about the XFL, there's days where people don't care at all. And there's some days where people's all about it. So, I can kind of understand from a
and I'm sure for your business, it's like with podcasting, you just got to keep putting it out. You know what I mean? Keep putting in the work, keep putting it out there. And, all you're waiting for is that one, break where you get a little bit more viewership and then a little bit more viewership and a little bit more viewership. And that's kind of with football. It's like, you want to play a little bit better team, a little bit better team, a little bit better team. So
exactly.
And and if you were to, just like with me and with your business and football, it's like, I'm sure there's days where you're like, I could just not do this. You know what I mean? You're like, I could just hang out and not do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I mean? But if you want something, you can't let those intrusive thoughts get you.
And that's it, man. I just had to share that because I test in my own fashion of what you're saying. I can definitely agree with you, and I feel you're doing a lot more because you're actually putting your body on the line. You're putting, family. I'm not sure if you have kids. You said you're getting married, but there's a lot going on. If you leave to go across the country, I mean, I'm guessing your significant other does not go, correct?
No, she doesn't. She came for a couple games in Mexico, which was cool. And I'll try and visit as much as I can, but it's a tough deal, and she's great. She always has been. She played volleyball at the college that I played football at.
Gotcha.
And she was like a star over there. So she knows, and her family, like her brother played football. Her dad was a coach. So she knows, what it takes to be, not only to be an athlete, obviously she knows how to, be an athlete, what it takes physically wise, mentally wise. But she knows, the game of football and how much that takes out of somebody. So she's been super understanding with me having to travel, me having to, hey, I just got to get in the car this weekend and go. You know what I mean? There's this opportunity. I just gotta do it. So she's been super supportive and super cool about all that. And it's been big for me having somebody, you know what I mean, that's not going to get on me because I have to go, play football in Mexico or whatever, because she knows that an opportunity is an opportunity. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Yeah, you better marry her, bro. Yeah. You better get that done.
Yeah. I was like, damn, she's been putting up with me for this long. We got to get this thing going.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. I got to say the support does make a difference. And I've got the same kind of thing in my wing. So I get that as well. And you're traveling though. I mean, that props to you, bro. You're a little different than some athletes. I mean, some of the guys I talk to, that everything's kind of around their home city or home state, maybe a state or two over, but going across the world, that's a whole different thing. Going down to Mexico, that's a whole different thing. So can't imagine, but it's awesome that you got those experiences as well. Sure. Let's talk. Hold on, I got a couple more questions for you. And this one's kind of offhand, but what athletes do you admire and why? So who was your role model athletically growing up, maybe, or even right now?
So growing up as like I said, we were big into the Chiefs my whole life. Derrick Johnson was a linebacker that played for the Chiefs for a lot of years. And so when I was a kid, that was always like my favorite player was this guy, Derrick Johnson. And it's funny, even now, like years later, I'll like kind of look more into his game and more like the intricacies he would play with, because he was a lesser known linebacker. Obviously, Kansas City's a small market too. Back in those days, they were terrible. but I always loved the way he played. I always kind of loved, he was the captain of the team. He, you could see the leadership and see stuff like that. And that was always, huge for me. And then kind of something that is a lot more recent, but in the spring league, I was playing with a dude named DeMarcus Gates, who played in the XFL. He played in the USFL. He's played at a bunch of different places. I don't know if you've heard the name before. He played at Ole Miss. So he was on our team in the spring league, and we're like friends now. I haven't talked to him in a while, but just those 2 weeks that I played with him, it was seeing a linebacker go about things in such the right way and play the game in a different way. And now he's with the Chicago Bears, which I'm super happy for him finally getting the opportunity to stick on a team in the NFL and really get his opportunity. But I just watched him kind of come in. He came in late. And the way he went about his business, the way he sees the game and takes care of the game, it's something, that I talked to him about. And I think he really, helped kind of change my mindset with stuff. And it was he came in and he said, I remember he said, everyone was super worried about reps because this was a developmental team where we're all trying to, get somewhere. And everyone's super worried about reps. And he would just kind of like, he would learn the defense. He'd watch the film. He'd know what's going on. And if he got 2 reps, it was, he'd go in there and he'd handle his business for those 2 reps. And if it was 1 rep, he'd go in there and he'd handle his business for 1 rep. So he wasn't worried about complaining or, making it about him or whatever. He was really worried about getting himself in a good position where he could go on to the next level. And I know that's, we're the same age and we kind of have done, similar paths with football, but just seeing, the way he goes about business and the way he goes about football, it's no surprise to me that he's in the NFL now. So just playing with him was big for me, playing, with a linebacker of that caliber who's kind of on the same journey that I was on at the time.
Yeah, it sounds huge, man. And like I said earlier, it must be very humbling. I mean, you're telling me that someone you admire is someone you played with. So
yeah,
that's pretty significant in how I view you as a player.
Yeah. I want to learn. I mean, I want to learn from I'll learn from anybody. I'll learn from like the backup punter. You know what I mean? If he's got some if he's got some wiseness he can put on me, I'll learn from anybody. I'm very open. So
gotcha. Yeah, good way to be, man.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a couple more questions for you, Oscar. We haven't been on here too long. It's been a good conversation, though. I appreciate you again coming on.
For sure. No problem.
Tell me, man, what does success mean to you personally? What do you envision your success to be?
Yeah, success to me, man, is in a broad sense, it's making the best out of your situations. I always say, like, they'll say, play the hand you're dealt. And I think that what's important to understand with the playing your hand you're dealt thing is that, you're not dealt your hand and you just look at it and you say, oh, here's what it is, and you put your cards down. You know what I mean? You look at it and you play the game, and you're switching stuff out and you're changing things. And so, yeah, you're playing the hand you're dealt, but you're not just accepting your fate. You're not accepting, what was given to you. You're taking what was given to you and you're, doing something with it, and you're making the most of it. As far as football goes, like we said earlier, same with podcasting, same with football, whatever. I just want to take a little step up every year, every time I play the game. You know what I mean? And wherever that ends is wherever it ends. When I'm done playing the game, I'll know, I'll be able to walk away saying I kind of gave my all to this and I really focused in on it. But to me, all that matters is just taking that next step up, and as long as I'm taking steps up, as long as, I have some coach somewhere that says, hey man, you can play football. You know what I mean? That's all that matters to me. And that's all, that kind of validates what I'm doing and kind of, makes me feel like all this work I'm putting in is getting something,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great answer. And I didn't really expect less from what we've talked about so far.
Yeah. For sure.
Let me see. So this is kind of a two-part question. Not really, but I mean, so I was going to ask you, what team did you enjoy playing for the most? Right. And also, what's your best athletic experience? So if you want to gauge those all into one, that would work fine.
Yeah. So I think my best year of football has probably been most recently in Mexico. Gotcha. That's where, like, there's a couple games where it's almost like an out of body experience. Like I'm seeing things happen before it happens. You know what I mean? Like, and it's and like you said, you were playing in high school and you were all state and stuff like that. So I'm sure you've had this experience. If you can, think back to that, where it's like, there's certain games where, like I said, you're seeing it before it happens and you kind of can take over the game. And I've been able to do that this last year in Mexico, probably better than I have, at any other point in my career, which is huge for me with the steps thing, because it's like, if your most recent full season was in your mind your best season, that's a good sign. Favorite team wise, the Salina Liberty, the arena team in the CIF, they were, that is a championship caliber organization. And they've won now a couple championships, and I'm super proud of all those guys, the coaching staff and everything. I have a lot of respect for all of them over there. But that's
that again. Was that, you say that was the NIL?
CIF. It was the Salina Liberty. But I have a lot of respect for all those guys over there. And the way that ownership group, general manager, coaches, the way they handle business over there should be a model for all, developmental leagues, all different leagues, to show what it takes to actually run an organization the right way. As far as everyone was paid on time, everyone was taken care of, We had practice facilities that worked. We had access to, strength and conditioning and all that, access to food that they paid for and stuff like that. The travel, everything was done, and taken care of at a championship caliber level. So even if on the field, there were certain weeks I was playing linebacker, I was playing D-end, I was inactive a couple weeks, I'd come back and I'd play linebacker, and I was playing all over the place. I was kind of a utility guy for them. So as far as, actual on the field, I was a utility player. I was just trying to help the team. I was filling in where I could. But as far as the organization and the coaching staff and everything, I have a lot of respect for them. And I think that's a team really that should be modeled. And I think that anybody, wanting to start up a team, because I know nowadays there's a ton of people that want to get their own arena team or their own, smaller team, whatever. The Salina Liberty is a team you need to look at and look at the way they do things, because they've really been building something over there.
I like it. I'm definitely going to have to research that more now that we're talking as well.
Yes, sir.
I tried to research it some now, but I really didn't know what to look for, and I knew.
Yeah, the best. I think the best. Their most of their information and stuff would probably be Facebook, I guess. Salina Liberty on Facebook. Salina is a small town in Kansas, which is perfect for them because it's big there. They have a ton of people that have season tickets, come back year after year after year after year. They have people that travel with the team. It's almost like a minor league baseball team or a minor league hockey team or something like that in a smaller town. You know what I mean? So it's really well done. But I would definitely check it out, because as far as arena teams go, and they're not the flashiest or the best social media department or whatever, but just purely football fans bringing money in, doing all that. Man, they're doing it the right way for sure.
Good deal. I like it, and I'm excited to check it out more now as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, dude. I think I only have one more question for you. It's nothing too crazy, but yeah. Where do you see yourself in 2025? So not this coming year, but the following year.
Absolutely. So in 2025, man, I first of all, I'm getting married spring of 2025, so we're locking that down, like we talked about.
Hey, there you go.
Locking that down. But man, I really see myself this next year taking advantage of my opportunity, whatever that may be, and then having the opportunity in 2025 to move up, and really get myself in a position where a league like the XFL, ELF, USFL, CFL, something like that, will really give me an opportunity and really, be able to see what I can do and take me serious and really, give me that opportunity to show the value that I can bring to a team. So I think 2025 will really be in my mind and what I'm visualizing. That'll be kind of the peak of the mountain almost, where it's like I've taken all these steps, I keep climbing, and at that point I'm hoping that, and I believe really truly, if I take advantage of this next opportunity, that 2025 will be, when I really kind of get seen and kind of get, acknowledged for these years that I've been putting in, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, man, especially after talking. I wish you the best of success in whatever you do, whether it be, Mexico or Europe or America. Yeah. I really do wish you success in whatever you decide or wherever you end up.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
I think no matter what, you'll be happy, it seems like, as long as you're getting paid and took care of, and as well as you got a professional experience, I think you'll be good. But yeah, man, you seem like you have a really good head on your shoulders. Very humble individual. So I'm not too concerned about you as a player or person.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. That's about going to wrap it up. I think that's all the questions I got for you, dude. We've been on here for almost an hour exactly.
Yes, sir.
Oscar, I appreciate you coming on. Guys, this is Oscar Scott. He's a professional linebacker. Expect him to be somewhere next year. Not sure where right now, but he definitely will end up. And, once you get somewhere, dude, come back on. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
have some experiences. Absolutely. Come back on. I've got a pretty good stream of followers. It's nothing huge and major, but
we're building it. It's a building process, getting there.
Yep. And this is what I enjoy, honestly, dude, is this collaboration and getting to know you guys as athletes. everybody has a different story. Everybody has a unique story. And it really makes who you are as a player, what you've dealt with and what you've done. So it's awesome that I appreciate you taking the time to come on, dude, and good luck in your future.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it. I'll be tuned in to what you're doing too.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Hey,
I'm catching up on episodes right now. So
hey, I'll tell you, it's been a growing pain. When I started this thing, it was all audio. Now it's turned into a live stream with guests and all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely every episode's a building experience and learning experience. Everything's been a go as you can and kind of just wiggle your way around until you're successful in what you're doing. So I appreciate you, dude. And like I said, anytime you're wanting to come on or you have anything you want to present or you want me to put out, just let me know. I'll put it out.
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Before you hop off, shout out your socials. This is an audio podcast too.
Okay.
So people will listen at home.
Yeah, absolutely. So on Instagram, my handle is OscarScott_51. On Twitter, or I guess it's X now.
Confusing.
Yeah. Twitter/X. My handle is OscarScott_84. So Instagram and Twitter. I'll follow me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I will put all your stuff in the notes as well, so it's easily clickable. It'll just be a link, so no worries. But I always tell people with the audio, definitely do that. You'll find that some of the people here that listen, they will support you full-heartedly. So I look forward to you and your success in the future, man. And thank you again for coming on today.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And we will see you again, Oscar. Stay in touch.
Sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. For sure.
Have a good one.
Brother.